Hello. We're both just making our notes. I am also making notes. Welcome to our DM Deep Dive. I'm Tara Rep, and I have the pleasure of having as my guest today, Alicia Marie, who is going to be dungeon mastering for us this summer at D&D in a Castle. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
I'm back for more because I just didn't feel like I was able to get out everything that I wanted to get out. Also because I really like talking with Tara, so I had a good time.
Lovely. Well, we all love talking about ourselves, so that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about you and how lovely you are. So thanks for joining us, and how excited we are to have you as a dungeon master at D&D in a Castle. I feel like it was
I love when I see you guys' videos come up on social media just organically coming down, because they literally do. They get me excited every time I see them. And I love the fact that I see so many people that I kind of know in the pictures dressed up, and everyone's really committed. I understand. It makes me so excited. And in all of the craziness that's going on in the world and craziness going on in my life right now, I feel like I have something to really, really look forward to, and it is D&D in a Castle. So I really, really want my tables to come and have fun and expect to just let loose and be your characters and play the game and just have a good time, because it's going to be all about you guys at the table. I'm so excited to come. You have no idea.
Well, we're so excited too. And you said the word committed, which is probably the touchstone word for the players at D&D in a Castle, because they are taking their vacation time, their hard-earned dollars, and they're all in. They're all in on coming for this game of D&D. You'll never get, maybe never, but you're not going to get more committed players than that in that experience. So that is a really big treat, not just for the dungeon master, but for the fellow players who are also all in. And it's no one there is sort of, half-baked, like, maybe I'll play. Like, they're not going to come to this event if they're not super into it. So that's a really nice treat. And even if they never played before, they're super excited to play, even if it's for their first time. And we have had people play their very first game at D&D in a Castle, which is such an honor.
Any level of, I've been playing D&D forever. I've played with every level of people who've been playing for 35 years, 4 years, to people who have, like, just like my cousin, I'm teaching her to play and watching everyone sort of do what they do. And every DM has their thing. They have their story, they have the way they play. But every DM has one thing in common. We like seeing what you guys do with what we throw out there. That's what we enjoy. We love our stories. I love writing. I have papers all over the place in this lovely screen hiding my mess, Post-its everywhere, like a maniac. But what I get most excited about is not my story. Is I write at my table cackling to myself because I want to see what you guys do with these. It makes me laugh, and that's what makes it fun for me, and that's what makes it fun for any good dungeon master. And all the dungeon masters that D&D in a Castle has are all like the best of the best. And that's why I get excited when I see the videos and stuff, because I'm like, I know, I've played with.
Yeah, we've got a couple comments coming in saying, say hi to Alicia Marie. If you do have comments or questions, please drop them in the chat, and I will pick them up and pass them on, and we'll hopefully be able to address your questions or comments or anything. We did mention the new players. We do actually get questions once in a while, like, oh, I haven't been playing that long, am I going to be out of place? Or if I haven't been playing that long, who should I play with? Or, do I need to be good at D&D? Which I always think is kind of funny. Like, it's a game you don't be good at. It's not even competitive. Like, it's not even like you can win at D&D. Like, there's no being good at it. You can't win. So anyway, can you address the new players? Can you address the new players and tell them what you want to tell them about that?
Okay, so for me, I didn't really get to start playing D&D until I was an adult. A lot of people got very lucky and they didn't have schools that were anti-D&D. School that I went to was like, that is the devil. So we didn't have anything that was even remotely close to D&D, nothing. I think we got to play Mad Libs when we were kids. Oh, we did get Choose Your Own Adventure, but you had to hide the books. You couldn't, but we had Choose Your Own Adventure, that kind of thing. So that was the closest we got. So I didn't really get to start. So I saw D&D over the years, and the cartoon. And I also had friends who played over the years, like really, really, really good friends, and they would say, or play. I I was self-conscious. I was like, everyone's gonna think my characters suck. Everyone's gonna think I don't know what I'm doing. And I had a player who was one of my longtime DMs now, play with him every week. He's like, no one's judging you. Literally, no one's judging you. Just start playing. Before I started playing, though, I did think that everyone really cared to that level. We just want you to care about your character and want to play. That's all we want, is people who want to be part of the game. People who don't want to be part of the game, like they're trying to break the game or trying to throw everybody off, that's different. But people who take their time to sit at a table are very rarely trying to screw everyone else up. So whenever there's two of you who write to me all the time, and I'm talking celebrities write to me, and they're like, so this game you guys play, how do we... I'm like, there's no way to start playing. You just have to find a table or find people who play and learn how by playing. There's no I think there are D&D schools you can go to, like online D&D schools. Like a bunch of things have popped up since the pandemic, but it's the one game that welcomes new players. We want to see what the new people do. The new people
That's
are usually
right.
the most
They
fun.
they bring something different. They're not they don't have all bad habits to break. And D&D in a castle, I often say D&D in a castle is the best place to learn to play D&D. Because you're surrounded by people who are chomping at the bit to tell you about D&D. Like they're just like, this is my one chance to talk about D&D nonstop, and you're gonna let me tell you everything about D&D. Like they're in heaven to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And there's like a rich experience there. Majority of the people who come to D&D, or there's a bulk, sizable representation at D&D in a castle of lifetime DMs, who have tons of experience and are so excited. And honestly, the dungeon masters fight over who gets the new players because they love the new players. As you say, they bring something really interesting, and usually novel and unexpected, and an excitement to the game. That's
no judgments.
Exciting for everybody.
This is a no judgments game zone. Everyone is in their own little world, but we're all here to play this together. And I'm just something you mentioned, Tara, that there are people there that this is their first D&D experience. I'm jealous. If my first D&D experience could be D&D in a castle, I would never leave. Oh my God, they would. I can't imagine if your first D&D experience is going to be this summer. I'm going to be extremely jealous, and I probably will end up talking your ear off. But like I said, you sit down. Oh, most recent, I'm ADHD, so you're gonna have to stay with me. And I'm also drinking mushroom coffee, so I'm extremely hyper right now. I recently had the experience of having a K-pop star. Right, I don't know if I told you this.
No, I haven't heard this. Tell me.
Wrote to me, and their management wrote to me, and he really wanted to learn how to play D&D. And it's not a really big thing, and where he lives, where he's from, what his culture, I have no clue. But he said it's not a big thing, but he kept hearing about it. So his management said, can we do a thing, a show or something where he's playing D&D with some of his biggest fans? So what they did was they pulled me in. They had me write a short campaign that we could run really fast, which I was like, run a campaign fast. Whew. Whoa. And these were brand new players. I was like, we're going to cut down a few things, but they'll still be able to see what it's like to play. But I was just so excited because most of them are new except for one person that was at the table. So they got the fans, 6 of his biggest fans, and then they had him. I had him come in at a pivotal moment in the story. They're sitting at the table, and they thought they were just there to be on a D&D show. That's a K-pop themed D&D sort of thing that they knew I was going to run. And then in the middle of it, and we put it in a setting, a sort of castle-like setting. And then in the middle of the campaign, I was able to you guys hear a knock at the door. There's a knock at the door. And they all looked at me. And then he came to the door in armor. And I was like, these are the things that as a DM, I really enjoy being able to do. And Tara and Justin have told me that D&D and Castle allows us to really stretch the boundaries of what we want to do as DMs.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with just the availability. Firstly, we talked about the commitment of the players, but also the availability of the players. Like you get to pack it, you know? You don't have to spend any time recapping. You never have a session where someone isn't there. I mean, it's possible someone could not attend a session, but usually that doesn't happen. You know, everyone is there. The whole, you know, it happens. You end up being able to pack a lot in, and everyone is all in. So if you're like, let's get up and go to this new setting, or you want to bring in somebody as an NPC that, you know, makes a sudden appearance as the Raven Queen or something, you know, we've had these kinds of things take place, or, you know, the opportunity is there if you want to set something up that's outside of your gaming space that you can take them into a different environment. And like, it's not LARP, but it's immersive D&D, you know? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal. I have a little question for you. You mentioned that, you know, you DM'd for this K-pop star, and I know that you could name drop if you were allowed. And I'm wondering how much name dropping you're interested in doing for our audience, because I feel like the last time we had an interview, you know, we chatted a lot and we got really into it, and I love that. And then we walked away and I was like, I'm not sure anybody learned anything about Alicia Marie.
Oh, geez.
Who you are. Because you know, I know that you're sort of deep in the Hollywood community. You have a lot of really interesting experience. There are video game characters that are based on you. You know, this is like lore, Alicia Marie lore that people might not know. So I wanted to like just let you tell people all the cool stuff. Like, I know who's in your D&D group, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell people who's in your D&D group, but if you are allowed to, like, share who you play D&D with on a regular basis, and your involvement with video games and those kind of things. Just tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, one thing I do, I on the, so if you do want to see the K-pop star game, like when it aired and everything, it's on my Instagram. That link, it's on my Instagram page. It links to the actual show, so you can see it. I did get it was funny because I got a lot of followers from that, and people were like, oh my god, he plays D&D too, that makes him even cooler. I thought that was so cute.
It is cute.
But yeah, I do as I mean, D&D is obviously my thing, but I'm also a costume maker, so I've been able to make costumes for some really big names. I got to make costumes for Jamie Lee Curtis, for Megan Thee Stallion. That's someone who needs to play D&D. She would be really good at D&D because she's got this crazy imagination. She's really sweet, and she likes just generally geeky stuff. She's different. She's smart. I feel like, you know, D&D people are kind of, first of all, we have the imaginations. We are the creators of creation. We are the dreamers of dreams. And she's someone who I think would be really, really cool. I've a few wrestlers. So I got to make costumes. Oh, the actress from Stranger Things. I was making things for her in October. So yeah, I've gotten to make some really cool pieces, costumes. People might notice on my social feeds, I do go to a lot of movie premieres, and I do that. It comes from costuming. So I've worked with Disney before. I worked with the show Willow. So that is how I ended up at that premieres. She-Hulk, I didn't do anything with She-Hulk, but I've done costumes for Marvel before. I've done costumes for Marvel, 2K Games, Riot, a lot of stuff for Warner Brothers, Mortal Kombat, of course. I had a long-running artist contract with Mortal Kombat. So that was very exciting to get as someone who played that game since childhood very badly, might add. But I still played it. I'm earnest, but I was like, good. To get the phone call to that, you know, Warner Brothers wanted me to come to their offices to talk about being a contracted artist. Those are the moments in your life where you're like, what? How does this lead to this from that? But that's one thing I like to tell people. I was like, if there's something you enjoy doing, even if it's people around you, you can tell people looking at you like you have an obligation to keep doing it, because you don't know what doors you are opening behind the scenes. You have no clue what door. And I promise you, the more you do the things you do, the more things open up for you just magically. And you never expect it. And when it comes, it's not because you just have, it's because of everything you've been doing along the way.
Right.
So you have to you live once, make life happy, that whole stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I do
So
get to do a
coming
lot
to
of things
D&D in a
because I do
castle
it.
is one of those things. And when we spoke last time, you know, you were coming to our US castle, June
Yes.
29th to July 3rd, and then that event sold out. So
Yeah, good for
we announced a second
you.
event. So you're going to have a full table there. And so we announced a second event. We invited you to come back for another round of D&D in a castle, and there is space in that castle. So
Okay.
for those who are still who maybe saw that it was sold out, or you know weren't aware there was another one, or that they would have a chance to play with you, tell us about what you've got planned. And I know you don't want to do spoilers, and there's a balance between get them excited about the game, then also don't spoil the moments that you're so excited and get laughing maniacally in your messy office about what you're going to provide for your players, because I know that feeling. Tell us what makes this game exciting and what people can look forward to in this game.
Okay, so like Tar said, I I tend to be very close-mouthed, close-fisted, close-mouthed, what's the term? With details on my campaigns and my games, and that just goes across the board. But I realize, you know, I've been player for a long, long time, but I've only been a DM for 3 years. Yeah, I've been playing for a long time, but I've been a DM for 3 years. So for some people, I might be, oh, she's kind of new. I'm not really sure what her style is. Like, so they might be kind of nervous about whether or not I can deliver. I can. You're fine. You're in good hands. I'm crazy, but crazy in a good way. My tables have been very, very happy thus far. So I just want you to feel comfortable with what I'm going to be bringing this summer. So you notice I'm talking very carefully. That's on purpose because the way my games are run, they're like, what's up here? A thread can unravel it all. I'm not giving you the thread, but I will give you beats that I've written notes on that allow me to say enough. Okay.
All right.
The campaign. Oh, you want me to talk more about the first campaign or the second?
The second one. What are we doing for the second one?
Okay. So if you're only coming to the second one and you're not coming to the first, you don't have to worry that you're missing something. There's a connection to the first, but it's a different story. It's me just in my head continuing something. So, but the second campaign, I will touch on what happened in the last, so you won't be confused or won't think, oh, we did. I'll actually draw a continuation from the first, so it won't feel like you missed anything in the first campaign. So basically, the campaign will explore the remnants of something very sinister that the players experience in the first campaign, which you will experience yourself in the second. Maybe a little bit of something that you felt like you left behind. This is a scary story. I do want to scare you. I'm not talking grotesqueness. But I do want to sort of challenge you to think a little bit. No, this is not a math test. Don't worry, you're going to walk into a bunch of quizzes and things. That's not what this is. It's more about pushing you to see where you're willing to let your players and your character and your mind go when you're playing. One thing that was really fun when I ran a campaign almost like this one at an event a few months ago was seeing how everybody started the game very much, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'll jump in that. But after like a few hours, everybody's like, should we go in there? And I'm like, are you asking me? What do you think I am? And they're like, what do you think we should do? And I encourage you to talk it out with your fellow players. If you feel inside like, this is getting really creepy and really scary, and I don't want to do anything that's going to, I'm not out to kill you, but it's a dangerous world that you're going into. And I'm going to, when we do have a page where I'm going to be able to talk to my players and give you a heads up on what you're should be sort of preparing wise. But I want you to be prepared that you can get very, very hurt in this game, but I don't want you to think that you're coming in. I'm going to be like, yeah, you all just got hit with a spear, take 94 points of damage. That's not what I'm trying to do. Although I do DM friends who love doing that. Okay, this is a mix of psychological horror, dark fantasy. That should make sense to you. The dark fantasy thing for me, it doesn't just come from the monsters you fight. It will come from like this sneaking sense that something is always watching, waiting, wanting. Trying to think what else I could put in there without giving away most of. Okay, you guys are going to be unraveling a mystery. You're going to be facing the unknown. I just want to see how much fear you guys are willing to endure to figure out the truth. One thing that I truly enjoy, and I'll keep saying this to the very end of days, is watching at the end when you guys, your characters are playing and you're coming up with all, I'm watching you come up with theories, and as you're talking, I'm implementing them into the actual fabric of the story. And at the end, having the face where everyone's looking at the table going, all you have to do, all of the, should I say this? There are clues throughout the game. If you're listening, you'll be able to figure it out. But it's not going to be in your face. This is definitely a campaign for people who are coming to play, whether you're new or whether you're old. If you want to like fight big monsters, yay! There are definitely big monsters in this game. This is a homebrew, but of course it's based in the Forgotten Realms. So you'll there are familiar cities and things that will be mentioned, an area that I've redesigned. But the names you will know. Let me think if I should say this. Okay. The deeper you, as the players, characters, get in to the situation, the more you realize you're being, observed. That's okay to say without giving away too much. Like I said, it's here. I don't want to give away too much, but I do want you to be intrigued to play. And I do, if you're watching this now and I think in my little page, and there are questions you want to ask me alone, feel free to ask me. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable coming to the table while not telling you the whole story, because you don't want to know the whole story. Trust me. The fun of it is you experiencing this for real. For real. I want you to be scared, but it's a controlled environment, and that's why we like horror in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people don't want spoilers, but they just want to know, is this the game for me? Is this the kind of game that I want to play? And it sounds like it's mystery, it's intrigue, it's suspense, it's some darkness, some creepy lore,
creepy lore. Yeah. It's like a slow realization. There are memories that your characters are going to be experiencing, memories that have been twisted and changed. So this is me having beats in my head to give you confidence, to come to the table, know that you can bring what you want to bring, and it will be whatever you want to bring will be absolutely fine. There's a lot of characters, a lot of NPCs that you guys can do whatever you want to, because that part's not pre-written in my head. Anything you guys want to do, it will become what it is, because I have the world that you guys are stepping into. The foundation of what you guys are stepping into is all up here. So anything you guys do to it becomes it. It is choose your own adventure. That's what we do.
Yeah,
so I'm just excited to write a whole new story with you guys.
As well. That was my jam growing up, so love the reference there. But in Choose Your Own Adventures, unlike D&D, you always end up back in the same place. Whichever route you take in a Choose Your Own Adventure, you're going to end up in the same place. I don't know if that's always true in D&D, but I'm wondering, you mentioned about having been, you're known as a player. You've been on a lot of shows, a lot of streams and things like that as a player, and some as a DM.
Yeah.
But How has that
I love it.
changed your view on D&D, or like your experience of D&D being the DM as opposed to the player? And do you feel like you're style wise, are they connected, or do you feel like when you're a player, you're one kind of person, and when you're in the power seat, it's totally different? Alicia Marie, do you
That's
know what I
actually a
mean?
really good question. Did you come up with that, or did someone come up with that? I'm like, that's a really good question.
No,
So
that's on me. That's on me. I got all the good questions. Oh, she's frozen a little. You've frozen a little, Alicia. I don't know if that's my internet or yours. But Alicia's gone frozen a little bit. We're just asking her about being a player versus being a DM, and how that's different in terms of the experience and in terms of Alicia as a person. Alicia's joining us at D&D in a Castle this summer from July 6th to 10th in our American castle at D&D in a Castle, USA. Aw, two awesome people. Love you, Lauren. Thanks for stopping in to watch. Wish you could join us at D&D in a Castle. It looks like we've lost our guest momentarily right at the end of our interview, but it looks like Alicia is back. Huzzah!
Was that me? I dropped?
I don't know what that was. It froze on my end, and I just ran with the assumption that it froze for everyone. And maybe that was me being me-centric. I don't know, but it froze, so I just kept talking. But great that you're back.
Okay.
And
back.
Lauren dropped in to say hi. And yes, so tell us about the difference between being a player and being a DM, and what that difference does to you.
Figuring it out. Yeah, I was like, this is live, anything's gonna happen, but I'm just happy we're able to get it back. So I started playing, my very first games were live. My very first time DMing was live on Hyper RPG. That's the first time I ever DM'd. And my friends were like, the first time you're DMing is gonna be live. And I was like, yeah, they're like, have fun, good luck. That was hard because of the time limit. Like, you have to make sure you hit this point in the story, this point, because 3 hours, you're done. When I started playing live versus my home games, the difference is obvious. Like, when you're live, you're on. Everybody's really even though you're playing, you're very much in the performance mode, which is what I do when I'm DMing. So it kind of works because I want people to feel like they're experiencing something. I'm not just telling a story. I'm like, there's a chair in the corner of the room. I like giving that little bit of extra. So I do tend to be theatrical. A lot of us are theater kids. Yeah. we're gonna throw that little bit in it. The major difference between streaming, DMing live, and DMing, when you're in a more sort of home setting, D&D in a castle, where you have, is that you even though there are things that you want to, that you have to hit in the story, there's just so much more flexibility. It's definitely more relaxed. There is, if anything, like zero metagaming, because we're all just there, and really whatever goes. So that part of the stress of when you're doing a show where you have to hit certain story points to make everything make sense, the story you're building, like we're going to build at D&D in a Castle, will make sense. But in getting there, it can go 150,000 different ways, and it will all connect. It'll all connect in the end the way it needs to, without feeling that pressure of rushing it out or manufacturing the interaction. We won't need to manufacture anything, because you guys, I tested most of this game already. You guys are gonna, with different types of ways, you guys are going to get there eventually. But at this particular D&D in a Castle experience is going to be the way you guys want to do it. And I'm just getting excited because I want to see how you do it. It's intricate. It's complicated. There are a lot of monsters, a lot of NPCs, and everything pretty much is interactive. There isn't something that doesn't do something. In spent a lot of time in the stuff. I spent a lot of time, at the end of my campaigns, one thing that makes me laugh is when I'm sitting with the players and they're like, okay, question, what would have happened if we had done that? What would have happened? And I'm like, oh, that's so funny. You guys walked right by that. Or when you guys pilled up that, you didn't do that. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because I could tell you to do everything, because there's something behind every door. There's something in every wall. There's something. So it's going to be what you guys choose to look at or not. I don't railroad anybody. It's too much.
Right. So a lot of player agency, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's story. It's a very it's a complicated narrative, but not too complicated.
Right.
I don't want to be taking the SATs when I'm playing D&D.
Right. Yeah.
You know when you like,
When
you know when
you're
you want to
playing,
give them
that's fun.
the puzzle's too hard. Puzzles have to be tested, because if they're too hard, the people who are playing tend to jump out of character.
Yeah.
I noticed that. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
no, you should be able
Mhm.
to roll your way out of it sometimes.
Right. And maybe you're smarter than your character, or the other way around. It's okay when you're
Right.
smarter than your character, because then you can play dumb. But if your character's really smart and you're not,
Right? You know what I mean? Like this doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, well, we're gonna have so much fun this summer, Alicia. Can't
We really
wait
are.
for that experience for your players, for the castle, for you. It's gonna be amazing. If you are interested in finding out more about D&D in a Castle, about Alicia and her game, you can go to dndinacastle.com. Alicia is dungeon mastering at 2 events of D&D in a Castle this summer in the USA. So if you're in the USA, that is in country. You don't have to fly overseas to get there. And there is space July 6th to 10th. The other event is sold out June 29th to July 3rd, but July 6th to 10th is available, does have some space remaining, though tickets are selling all the time, so it is going to fill up. Oh, yeah, I tried to get your game, but it was sold out. Well, you can get into Alicia's game
Katrina.
July 6th to 10th. If you come back to D&D in a Castle, look at the events and find the July 6th to 10 dates. There is space there, and there's space at Alicia's table. The other event is sold out, but there are now 2 opportunities to play with Alicia. So do come and play with Alicia. Have so much fun at the games, because it sounds so entertaining. You know, I personally tagged you as the escapist DM, not like escapologist, like no one's tying anybody up here. We're just trying to escape reality, which it sounds like really pleasing right now, escaping reality and going to a place where everyone is welcoming and fun and a community that has something in common that they're passionate about, and we're all just there to have a great time and go on a great adventure together and build
pictures. We can dress up.
Yes, lift each other up and just have a wonderful time, whoever we are and wherever we come from, and etc. So that is one of my favorite things about D&D in a Castle, is the community that grows up in it every time, and it's just so heartwarming and so lovely and so wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us, Alicia.
And it's never enough time, Tots. Never.
We'll just have to get together IRL at some time and just talk forever, because that's my jam completely. You bring the mushroom coffee, I'll bring the coffee, and we'll have a good time. But I'm going to invite you to take us out, as usual, with an invitation to whoever you think is your ideal player, and entice them to come and join your game at D&D in a Castle, July 6th to 10th this summer at D&D in a Castle USA.
Okay. My ideal player is somebody who doesn't break a nail off. No. My ideal player is someone who comes to play, who's ready to sit at a table. I mean, a lot of people come to the table with notebooks. Notebooks are totally welcome, because nobody can remember everything over hours and hours of gameplay. You won't need to worry about, memorizing everything. We're going to do recaps. So I'm not here to leave anyone behind. I want to play with you guys. I want you to want to play with me and want to be at this game. I will say this for horror, people who are interested in horror, this isn't the kind of horror that jumps out of you when you walk in your room. This is the kind of horror that you are walking through a tunnel and you hear something laughing. This is, it's really not the kind you expect. It's definitely a slow realization. So I want people who like that kind of stuff, who just like that kind of stuff, get into it, and bring any characters you want. And like we were saying earlier, if you have questions for me, like specific questions, I don't mind getting specific with people, like one-on-one, if you want more information. It's just on the blast out, I try to stay as vague as possible. But if you need to know more from me that will make you feel more comfortable with the table, definitely reach out to me. We can talk.
Amazing.
I welcome any opportunities to talk D&D.
Wonderful. And you can find out and then email us, and we can we can pass on any questions and everything to Alicia Marie for you if you have questions about her campaign, or about the D&D and the castle experience in general, and what makes it such an amazing vacation and such an incredible campaign. Well, thank you so much, Alicia Marie, and we will see you at the castle.
Yeah, see you guys in the castle.